Hi, welcome to the Late Late Show. I'm your host, Kate Mimlitz. Tonight we are welcoming, all the way from the East Coast, our guest, James Cattell. Come on in, James.
Woo!
Woo!
Well,
hello, let's take a seat. James is a psychologist, very famous. So James, you are a psychologist.
it's true.
Could you tell me about your early life?
I was born in Pennsylvania in 1860. My father was a minister and the president of Lafayette University, which I later studied at. I studied literature and mathematics.
Very, very interesting. So, since you studied literature and mathematics, how did you end up getting into psychology?
I went to the University of Leipzig for a graduate degree. Met and studied under Wilhelm Wundt and had a very successful partnership with him.
Interesting. That is University of Leipzig. And so, I know that you and Wilhelm Wundt were very influential in psychology. What do you think was your biggest contribution to the field?
I believe our biggest contribution was that we established intelligence as a field and had profound effects on the field of psychology. Without this contribution, many famous psychologists like Binet and Wechsler may not have had the same influence on psychology.
Wow, that is just so great. So what came next after you studied under Wundt?
Afterwards, I moved back to the U.S. and started teaching psych at Columbia University. I also became head of the Department of Anthropology, Psychology, and Philosophy.
Wow, I bet this was very difficult during the 1800s when psychology was not really a prominent field yet.
Yes, it was very difficult.
Could you tell us about some of the challenges you faced at this time?
It was very difficult for me to establish psychology as a scientific field. At this time, many regarded psychology as a pseudoscience, much like phrenology. However, I do believe that intellect can be measured in units, much like other sciences.
Wow, it sounds like you were very important in convincing people that psychology was really a valid science, just like physics and chemistry. Could you tell me why you ever stopped teaching at the University of Columbia?
I was dismissed from Columbia because of my opposition to the draft and America's involvement in World War I.
Ooh, very controversial.
The government desperately needed soldiers to fight, and so it was frowned upon for someone with influence to publicly oppose the war. This later led to the universities to establish tenure so professors with unpopular beliefs would be protected.
Cool. So who else, aside from Wundt, influenced your work?
I was really influenced by Darwin's work. Because of his theory of evolution, I am a firm believer in eugenics and inherited intelligence. It also inspired me to pursue the psychology of individual differences. I am also a close follower of Francis Galton, whose work on individual differences really brought Darwin's theory to life in the field of psychology.
Very interesting. So speaking of individual differences, what kind of studies did you perform to measure the individual differences among people?
I performed a series of mental tests, which are tests of motor skills and sensory capacities on my students.
We have a clip of some of Cattell's famous mental testing.
Caitlin, I would like you to remember 3 words: vase, window, and New York Times.
Okay, vase, window, and New York Times.
Caitlin, do you remember the 3 words that I asked you 3 days ago?
New York Times.
Correct.
That's all I can remember.
Here you are,
Thank you.
and here you are. Which one weighs more?
This one.
Okay. What about those 2?
I think they weigh the same.
Tell me what you smell.
Oh, that smells like laundry detergent?
Yes. What's this?
Ugh, it smells like an old shoe.
Correct. What about this?
Mmm, popcorn.
Correct again. What color is this?
Black.
2.3 seconds. Very good. What shape is this?
Triangle.
Very good. 1.4 seconds.
Wow, that was really cool. So why are these kind of mental testing still not used by psychologists today?
Today, intelligence tests use more complex means to measure people's intellectual abilities. We later found that there is no relationship between my tests and academic performance. My IQ tests and other intelligence tests have taken the place of my mental testing.
Wow, well, that's really too bad that your work didn't really take off. So what other kind of contributions have you made to the field of psychology?
Aside from my many publications, I was the editor of Science magazine for almost 50 years. During that time, I really helped to promote psychology as a science and helps people make it a recognizable study.
Wow, James, you have really just had such a full life. You are truly an inspiration to all of us. It's been such an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much for being here. James Cattell, everyone.